June 22nd, 1941, 3:15 in the morning. A Soviet border guard hears something in the darkness, a low rumble, growing louder. He thinks it's thunder. It's not thunder. In the next 24 hours, the largest invasion force in human history will cross this border. 3 million men, 3,000 tanks, 2,000 aircraft, and one man, sitting in Moscow, will refuse to believe it's happening. This is the story of the longest day in military history, the day that changed World War II, the day that changed everything. It begins in silence. Let's go back 5 minutes. 3:10 a.m. Along a border stretching from the Baltic Sea to the Black Sea, over 1,800 miles, Soviet soldiers are asleep. In barracks, in tents, in foxholes dug into the summer earth. Border Guard Lieutenant Nikolai Ryzhkov is on watch at a crossing near Brest. He's been hearing something for the past 20 minutes. A low rumble, distant, like a summer storm rolling in from the west. But the sky is clear. 3:13 a.m. The rumbling grows louder. Ryzhkov picks up his field telephone. The line to headquarters is dead. 3:14 a.m. He hears a new sound, high-pitched, mechanical, screaming through the darkness. Stukas. 3:15 a.m. The world explodes. 9,000 German artillery pieces open fire simultaneously, from the Baltic to the Black Sea, the largest artillery barrage in history. Shells rain down on Soviet airfields, barracks, ammunition depots, command posts. Ryzhkov is thrown to the ground. His ears are ringing. He can't hear his own voice. Around him, men are screaming, running, dying. At airfields across the Western Soviet Union, pilots stumble from their quarters to see their aircraft, lined up in neat rows, wingtip to wingtip, erupting in flames. In Brest Fortress, soldiers wake to find German infantry already inside the walls. On the telephone lines that still work, frantic voices ask the same question. Is this a drill? Is this a provocation? What are our orders? There are no orders, because 800 miles away, in Moscow, Joseph Stalin is asleep, and nobody dares wake him. If you want more deep dive investigations into history's turning points, make sure to subscribe and hit the bell so you never miss an episode. Now, back to the front lines, where chaos is spreading and orders are nowhere to be found. In Moscow, the first reports are chaos. German tanks crossing the Bug River, airfields in flames, border posts overrun. But Stalin refuses to believe. He suspects a provocation, a ploy to drag the Soviet Union into war before it is ready. He orders his staff to confirm, to wait, to not escalate. Across the front, Soviet commanders beg for guidance. Their phones ring unanswered. Messages pile up. The order comes. Do not return fire. Do not engage. Hold your positions. For 3 hours, the Red Army is paralyzed. Artillery shells pound trenches. German panzers roll through burning villages. Soviet soldiers crouch in foxholes watching the enemy advance, unable to shoot back, forbidden to fight. Some units disobey. Most do not. Thousands of men die waiting for permission to defend themselves. By the time Stalin finally gives the order to resist, the front is already shattered. At dawn, the sky is torn open by the roar of engines. The Luftwaffe strikes with surgical precision. Wave after wave of German bombers and fighters descend on Soviet airfields stretched across the western frontier. Within minutes, runways are cratered, hangars erupt in flames, and parked aircraft become twisted wreckage. Soviet pilots scramble to their planes, but most never make it off the ground. In just 2 hours, more than 1,200 Soviet aircraft are destroyed, most without firing a single shot. The devastation is absolute. Airfields that took years to build are reduced to smoldering ruins. Communications collapse. By sunset, the Soviet Air Force is a shadow, crippled on the very first day. The Red Army is left blind, its skies surrendered before the battle has truly begun. At precisely 8 o'clock in the morning, the ground begins to shake. From the Baltic to the Black Sea, more than 1,000 German tanks surge forward, a steel avalanche rolling across the Soviet frontier. This is Blitzkrieg perfected. Panzer columns advance in coordinated waves, their radio operators calling targets, their commanders reading maps at 40 miles per hour. They don't stop to fight, they bypass, they outflank, they race deeper into Soviet territory. Soviet defensive lines designed to hold against infantry are simply overrun. Anti-tank guns fire. Some panzers burn, but the columns keep moving. Behind them, infantry follows. Ahead, reconnaissance units fan out, hunting for weak points, for bridges, for roads east. By 8:10, the border is gone. German spearheads are already miles inside Soviet territory, and the encirclements have begun. Entire Soviet divisions find themselves surrounded, cut off from supply, from reinforcement, from escape. The trap is closing, and it has taken just 10 minutes. By noon, the Soviet command structure is collapsing from within. Communication lines, telephone cables, radio networks, dispatch riders are severed, jammed, or simply gone. Commanders shout orders into dead receivers. Messages never arrive. Units vanish into the smoke. At Western Front headquarters, General Dmitry Pavlov stares at maps that no longer reflect reality. His divisions aren't where they're supposed to be. Reports contradict each other, or don't come at all. He sends orders to counterattack, but there's no one left to receive them. Pavlov picks up the phone to call Moscow. The line is dead. He tries again. Nothing. His staff officers look at him, waiting for direction. But what can he tell them? He doesn't know where the Germans are. He doesn't know where his own armies are. The chaos spreads like a virus through every level of Soviet command. Regimental commanders make decisions in isolation. Battalion leaders retreat without orders. Soldiers fight and die, defending positions that have already been abandoned. The Soviet war machine, vast and powerful on paper, is paralyzed, and the Germans keep advancing. This is how Blitzkrieg works. It's not just tanks, it's not just planes. It's the orchestration, the deadly symphony of combined arms warfare. First, the Luftwaffe. Stukas scream down on Soviet positions, destroying artillery, command posts, supply depots. Messerschmitts strafe columns of retreating troops. The sky belongs to Germany, and from that sky, death rains down continuously. Then, the panzers. They don't attack where the enemy is strongest. They probe, they search, they find the gaps. When they break through, they don't stop to consolidate. They drive deep, racing toward headquarters, supply lines, communication centers. Speed is the weapon. Shock is the strategy. Behind the tanks, motorized infantry follows in half-tracks and trucks. They secure what the panzers have taken. They mop up bypassed positions. They hold the flanks of the advancing spearheads. And here's the killing stroke: encirclement. German columns don't push the Soviets back. They surround them. Panzer divisions race around Soviet formations like wolves circling prey, meeting behind them, closing the pocket. Trapped inside, tens of thousands of soldiers, cut off from supply, from reinforcement, from escape. The Soviets fight with desperate courage, but courage alone cannot break steel. The pockets tighten, the ammunition runs out, and the Germans move on to the next encirclement, the next victory, driving deeper into the Soviet Union with every passing hour. Midnight, June 22nd, 1941. The first day is over. German spearheads have driven relentlessly, carving 50 to 80 kilometers into Soviet territory in a single day. Towns and villages that had awakened to the thunder of artillery now lie silent, occupied, or in ruins. For the Red Army, the cost is staggering. 20,000 Soviet soldiers lie dead. 300,000 more are captured, whole divisions swallowed by the speed and surprise of Blitzkrieg. The Luftwaffe sweeps the skies clean, destroying over 1,200 Soviet aircraft, many on the ground, never given a chance to fight. More than 2,000 tanks, some abandoned, some burning, dot the roadsides and fields. German losses are, by comparison, almost negligible, fewer than 3,000 casualties. The Wehrmacht advances, nearly unopposed, deeper into the Soviet heartland. But as night falls, a grim truth settles in. This is only day one. Ahead lie 1,418 more days of war. Cities will burn, fronts will collapse and reform. Millions will die. the bloodiest conflict in human history has begun.